Now, your most accurate forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Breck.
Well, today was one of those days. This might have been your street around the city. At least we didn't have the kind of flooding that gets into homes, at least that I'm not aware of, because the pumps were able to keep up. We had enough break between the rain showers that it still looks kind of dismal out there right now, and it looks like it's going to stay that way overnight. We're kind of hung up. Out in the distance, you can almost see some blue here. We're overlooking the Southern Yacht Club towards the northwest, and unfortunately, that's not close enough to us. Here's the culprit, this upper swirl. You still see it. It's not moving a whole lot. Yes, remember the other day it was down here. It's slowly drifting towards the northeast, and it'll take off and head up towards Illinois during the day tomorrow. But we're kind of stuck under this fetch of moisture that keeps coming in from the Gulf, and the Weather Service believes that this area down here, you see this boundary? Look at it. I can keep my hand there, and it hasn't budged. And they're thinking that there's going to be a wave come up across this later on tonight and bring us some more showers and thunderstorms. So that's why they've kind of kept up their flash flood watch. Most of the heaviest and the brighter cloud tops, you see them over here, they've shifted away from us. And those of you on the North Shore and over, especially Baton Rouge, got into sunshine this afternoon. But we still have some rain that is showing up. Now, we're going to give you a little tour here. We'll first take you off to the Mississippi Gulf Coast because that's where you got hammered last night. And the bands of rain started out over, say, Bay St. Louis, and then shifted over towards Long Beach, and then it hit Gulfport, and eventually made it over towards Biloxi. Well, we have another band that's starting to form. You see it here. It's the same thing. This band is going to creep across you this evening. So be aware that there's another one of these bands setting up, and some of the storms here are fairly heavy. We'll zoom in and show you that, again, there's some lightning and thunder with these storms. Now, as long as the band keeps moving and it doesn't stay over the same track, you don't get the widespread flooding. But these are pretty heavy storms. We'll come up on the city, and you'll get the idea that this is not that far from us. And in fact, just maybe down towards English Turn. That's where the showers are, right over the golf course. Some showers starting to form out over the lake that are heading up towards Mandeville. So we're not done with the rain, bottom line, and goodness knows we need to be. These are all our weather observers, and I think you get the idea that everybody got a good soaking. Most of these are two-day totals. It didn't all come down today. This is the past 2 days, but you see many on here that exceed 5 inches. Now on the South Shore, same story. Many of them exceed 5 inches. This down at Boothville is only a one-day total. And then we come up towards the city, and again, I've taken off all the ones that were just 1 day, and the ones that you see on here, for the most part, I should say, some of these are 2-day. Like out at the airport in Kenner, out along the lakefront here. Boy, we've had some good soaking rains across the area. Miss Betty over in Metairie, Yuki over in Chalmette, down at St. Bernard over in Callender Field, up in, I should say, in Plaquemines. There's been a goodly amount of rain. Notice that swirl? Look at how chilly in the 50s. The heat wave goes up the East Coast yet, and it's still in the 80s up the East Coast. Now, let me show you. Here's the Viper model. We'll put this into motion, and you watch. Here's this boundary, and it kind of, you see what it does? It just kind of sits there overnight as we come up towards daybreak, and then it's stuck upon us. So that's why tomorrow morning might start out a little on the damp side. And then during the day, this kind of pulls away from us as a little surge of drier air comes on in. And notice this goes away from us. Our winds go northwest as we head on into Saturday. Saturday looks like a much better day. And then on into Sunday, we have a drying trend that comes in, and it should be okay after that. Now look what happens when you get back in the sunshine. 80s back out to the west. We're generally in the 60s here. The real dry air, well, that stopped coming on in. It doesn't look like it's going to get here. In fact, the winds are back out of the south, back to our west. We have not a lot of wind around us this afternoon, and in fact, the winds are generally variable in direction. The Fox fishing forecast is one that indicates that if you're going out tomorrow, you're going to see the winds, for the most part, fairly light. They've calmed down a lot this afternoon, although the seas are still up to 6 feet or more. The waves should be coming down 2 to 3 feet tomorrow. Notice they're up pretty high this afternoon, but we're expecting those to come down, and it looks like for your weekend, things will be a lot better. The tidal range is not a lot. That is the bad news, those of you who are trying to get some fishing in. Your extended forecast indicating that we're going to keep the rain in there for a little bit tomorrow morning with some fog, and then a drier weekend comes your way. And of course, you can always get this 7-day if you download our new Fox 8 mobile weather app. on your iPhone, iPad, or Android. Just type in WVUE, hit the search button, and you'll have it into your smartphone or whatever they call these phones that are a lot smarter than me.
Yeah.
A lot smarter than everybody.
Definitely.
All right, Bob.